All right, we're at Newman's house. Looking at doing some painting. They said the last time they painted was about 20 years ago, and the fact that the freeze kind of killed off all of their vining, jasmine, and everything else. They're thinking now might be a good time to paint. So that's what we're talking about here today. We talked about our two-step paint process with Sherwin-Williams. Obviously, Loxon be a perfect candidate primer here, just because 90% of what we're painting is masonry. But everything is being painted. All the dental work up around the fascia. There is one area of fascia repair we have to perform right here before the painting starts, but all that dental work, all the fascia, the brick, the shutters, the area behind the shutters, all the windows, all the doors, front porch columns, front porch ceiling, another porch ceiling up top on the second story over to the right side there. All of that is being painted, including those columns up above on the second story porch. If I recall correctly, that's the master, this room right here. So the master porch kind of retreat area would all be painted, excuse me, as well. So there's a little bit of porch ceiling up under here. Of course, these two porch columns. All the trim work around the door would all be painted as well. And we're gonna match the same colors. There's, I think, it's either a 4 or 3 color palette. It looks like 4. So we have the shutters, the body, the trim, and then there's kind of like an accent color around these windows. It's almost kind of like a taupey kind of color, real soft gray. So that's kind of what we're looking at here on the front, but it would include all of this area here. Coming over to the right side of the home, nothing in this screened in, a beautiful little screened in porch area here, nothing in there is included. We're sticking to the outside. All this vine, Anne wants to leave the vine that died just merely from the fact of giving the new vine that you can see is already starting to grow back something to train to. So here it would just be kind of a workaround with the paint, and she understands she does not want to tear this off. Same thing with the columns up there. So those columns will be left alone. Obviously this column here could be painted. The column along the side of the house right there could be painted, but these two columns would not be painted just due to the fact of the vine staying where it is. But all these areas around, inside here, inside there could be painted, and she just wants us to do the best we can, working around the vine with no expectation that this is coming off again, so it can be used to retrain the new vine. These brick pillars, all these little spaces in between, those would all be painted. Of course, all the windows and doors would be painted as well. So that's all included, including this framework on the screen. That would all be painted. All the doors, I think I said windows would all be painted. There is some guttering here. All the downspouts would be painted, of course, those are staying. There is some bare aluminum kind of galvanized gutter here. That would get painted to match the rest of the house, just so it's not sticking out. Again, nothing inside this screened-in porch, just the exterior facade would be painted. You got a whole bank of windows here that would all have to be painted, including the brick wall below. We have more windows and doors. Just saw a little baby snake out here. More windows and doors tucked up behind there, plus that cupola thing. That would all be painted as well, soffit and fascia, and the actual sidewalls themselves. This soffit down here would be painted as well. Everywhere else we really don't have soffit. It's really just that dental work and then the fascia itself. There's one little area right up there that needs to be repaired on the fascia. That's another area that would be repaired prior to us painting. You can see it right there in the picture. So that would all be painted up top up there, and clearly walk and work off the roof. Just got to be careful, it is a standing seam. But again, all downspouts would be painted as well. And glad it's not humid today. Holy moly, dying out here. Again, more windows, and we got a door there. There's that 4th color. I think that matches the shutters, if I'm not mistaken. But all shutters on the front and the left side of the house would be painted. That's really the only place where they are. But here you can see that cupola thing a little bit better. And the wall, all the brick, windows, all would be painted up there. Okay, just more sidewall back here, and you can see the gutter extends back to this corner here. So all this gutter that's galvanized now and the soffit underneath would all be painted. Coming back over here, we've got a couple oval windows up there. That's really just wood trim around those, so that would be painted as well, of course. We've got a couple little bay windows here. Those windows would all be painted, and the trim, and then of course all the brick. Down here we have all these 3 sets of doors. The transom windows above, a set of doors, and a couple windows up top, including these 2 side windows right here. So we have 1 window up there, 1 window down here. All of that would be painted. The facing, so huge stairwell here. The wrought iron is in pretty rough shape. It's going to be, I'm going to have to show that to Bo, but I think there's probably not going to be power washing that's going to solve that. It's probably going to require grinding. So that will be done by us. The vine will all be torn off by Ann's landscapers. So that will be taken care of. We will paint the underside porch ceiling and the porch railing that extends the banister, and then also down the staircase. The floor up there is concrete, so no need to do anything with that. But again, the underside of the staircase, and the brick wall all the way up and around that goes into the sidewall of the house would all be painted. This area back here, the brick, we're not painting any of the limestone, but the brick behind this would obviously be painted. And we'll go down here and take a peek. So again, leaving the limestone alone. But this massive brick wall here, that would all have to be painted as well. Extending right over to those set of double doors right there. Pretty good view of the side of the house here. So we'll just talk about that real quick. Of course, all these windows, anything that's basically on the second story or above, we're gonna need to take all that vine off. You can see that they've done some of it already. Still in dire need of pressure washing, just like this wall right in front of us. That all needs to be taken off there before we paint. But again here, all this vine that's up that second story and above, we need to take off, we need to power wash. And of course, every place that we'd be painting, we'd be power washing, caulking the ceiling. This little wall right here next to the doors, that would obviously be painted as well. And then this wrought iron gate, as I mentioned earlier, would be painted. But you can just see the condition of the wrought iron. I think power washing is only going to get us so far before we actually have to probably grind some of this down, whether it's with a buffer or actually like a grinding wheel. But you can see, I mean, that's not going to come fully clean with power washing. Over here, again, here's the wall we were looking at from down there. So definitely going to require some scaffolding to work here quickly and efficiently. Got a couple of massive 2-foot by 9-foot shutters. There's 2 pairs of them. And then we have 2 chimneys. We have this chimney that extends above the roof about 10 to 12 feet. And then we have this chimney that extends above the roof about 12 to 14 feet. So both of those chimneys would be painted all the way up and on the back side up top. All the woodwork here on the windows, shutters, behind the shutters, everywhere, the downspouts, all of that would be painted. So that's what we are looking at. I'm going to put all this together, like I said, with some input from Bo on this railing here and seeing what we can do to make that look as good as possible prior to applying paint. That's what we got. Just a couple areas of fascia repair, some soffit, a couple columns that we need to paint, and again, some port sealing. But it's a huge project, obviously. Not crazy degree of difficulty, just extremely time consuming, especially with all these GBGs. I counted the number of windows and doors per side to help us price that accurately. But again, every window has GBG. So, I'm sorry, not GBG, full divided light. So we're gonna have to do a lot of masking and prep work to paint that and make it look good, so the paint's not bleeding onto the glass. But that's really our scope of work. So I'm gonna work on this, get it over to her, and I'll have this over to you, Ann, here pretty quickly. As soon as I can get the input of my paint project manager, specifically on the railing. That's my biggest concern out of all this, is just getting that to an acceptable place where it's going to look good after we paint it. Other than that, that's what we have. And like I said, I'll get a hold of Stan and just shoot him a little reminder text, give him a little ping as far as following up with you on the paint work, or excuse me, not the paint work, on the repair work of that window, of Juliana's window. That's it. Thank you so much. It was good to see you again today, and I will look forward to talking to you shortly. Thank you.